champions again, Liverpool.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully all of you are having a fantastic day wherever you are around the world. Apologies that we are late. It is my fault. Completely forgot about the time. And yeah, just didn't really remember, that we were set to be going live tonight. So yeah, apologies for being 15 minutes late. That is truly my fault. But welcome to tonight's show. Tonight we are going to be talking about how will Liverpool cope without Virgil van Dijk. Of course, if you guys have been living under a rock, Virgil van Dijk is out for pretty much the Premier League season, or Liverpool season, however you want to take it. So tonight we're going to be talking how our thoughts are about Van Dijk out. We're going to be thinking about who could potentially come in January to maybe help with that, potentially even before January as well. So guys, please do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. But as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, and that is Wyoming from the Yanks of the Cop. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure, man. Guys, like I did say, he is from Yanks of the Cop. I was on there a couple of days ago to preview the Everton match. It will be in the links down below. So, please go and check that out. Please go and subscribe to their channel as well over on YouTube as well. I would very much appreciate if you could do that for me as well. But, let me, read a couple of your comments. Liz goes, hi, lads. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, Liz. And also as well, if anyone else is in here, watching for the first time as well, then please, do the usual stuff, like, share, subscribe, and all that thing. And also as well, don't forget to enable notifications, because YouTube hate notifications for some weird reason. But if I quickly tap that as well, there we go. If we do, tonight's show, we're just going to, have a relaxing chat about, Liverpool, mainly, and about Virgil van Dijk. But Wyoming, I'd ask you this. Of course, I was on, the Yanks of the Cops talking about the Everton game beforehand. How are you feeling now, a couple of days after that Everton match?
Oh, I went through a mix of emotions. Like, on Saturday evening, I was fuming. We did the Yanks of the Cop post-match, and we were just so emotional. Then Sunday, I calmed down, and I started realising that, okay, it's not... Look, Van Dijk is immense for us. He's been outstanding, like best centre-back in the world. But it's not the end of the world. Obviously, the injury is unfortunate, but our season's not over. We're still strong contenders for the title and for the Champions League. And it's not like how some Reds are saying, oh, the season's over, just give up. So I think obviously there's a lot of emotions that people had when they started making those statements at the beginning. But now the emotions come down. Okay, look, they're saying that also Van Dijk could be back potentially in March or February. They're not ruling him out totally. But it's a blow. And it's like, it seems it's just sort of cursed right now. Alisson, Van Dijk, Matip nearly got a knock today. And it seems like everything's stacking up against us. So I think right now, I'm being more positive and feeling that, there's still lots to play for, and we're not a one-man team. As much as it's important it is, we're not a one-man team. And I think it does a disservice to the rest of the lads to say the season's over because of Van Dijk. But yeah, obviously, it now means that everyone has to step up, and now offers like a conundrum, like how do we deal with when we're facing teams that are strong in the air? Dealing with those type of teams like the Sheffield United, the West Hams, the Brightons, who are going to pump balls in the box and stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm just obviously keen for Alisson to come back as soon as possible, because without Van Dijk now, we don't have that leadership, because he starts the press, he organises the offside, the high line, he's barking orders at Trent and Gomez when they're out of position. So, obviously my thing was, I did a tweet saying that how Matip, Gomez and Fabinho aren't vocal, and obviously Aiden's not vocal. So we need Alisson back as quick as possible, because at least he will give instructions from the back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you mentioned the aerial battle. I think if Van Dijk was on the pitch, I believe we wouldn't have conceded those 2 goals, especially the second one anyway, the Calvert-Lewin scored. Because I think, as many people would say, oh, it's Adrian's fault. For me personally, I didn't think it was Adrian's fault that he couldn't get to the ball. For me, it was Joe Gomez's fault for not being able to, get up there. I know Calvert-Lewin is, one of the, best in the air at the moment, in getting the ball. But at the end of the day, for me, Gomez didn't even, attempt to try and get there. And I know he's kind of like, how's the phrasing? His feet were stuck in the mud. Then you could say that. But, for me, I just think defensively, I think Liverpool will struggle more in terms of centre backs rather than goalkeeper, for example. Because like you said, Alisson's coming back, and there's actually some good news in terms of Alisson, and I will share it with the chat right now. Let me quickly hit it up on your screens. There we go. Right, so this was last night. After, let me make a big screen for you guys. So this was last night. We tweeted out. 2 nights ago, saying about Thiago. Thiago, well, he's had his scans and things like that. So Thiago is fine, mainly. He is in the thought process anyway for the Ajax game that we will be previewing tomorrow on the channel. But, it looks like he could miss it. It's more likely that he will miss it. But in terms of Alisson Becker, James Pearce has said that he is meant to be back at the end of October, as you can see down by here, which is absolutely fantastic news. And, it's realistically a good thing that Liverpool, we have the good thing of Alisson coming back so soon, because, it was estimated that Alisson could be out for 6 weeks. If he is back, which looks like to be around, I think we play West Ham at Anfield, the time that he is looking at coming back. So, for that to be so quick is absolutely fantastic for Liverpool in many respects as well. But, I'll ask you this, Wyoming. If Liverpool were to, get no more injuries in terms of centre backs, Gomez and Matip managed to stay fit, for the majority of the season. Do you think that, Liverpool won't struggle as much? I know Van Dijk, of course, Van Dijk is the, ultimate defender. We've been so fortunate in terms of him not getting injured over the last, 2-3 years. But, in terms of, Matip and Gomez, how do you think that partnership could work? Because even if Van Dijk has been injured, them two have never played together, really.
Well, my one concern with them two together is who's going to be the commanding one, the vocal one. Because they're not, it's not really in their personality to be barking orders or, and obviously when you look at the team, we normally have captains, and Alisson starts it by shouting at the back. Then you have Van Dijk in the middle. Then you've got Henderson. And then you probably got Mane who starts the press from the attack. And so those are kind of like the ones who do it. So without, well, what with Gomez and Matip is like, who is going to be the one that says, look, let's move up, or let's start barking orders, because I don't see it in Gomez because he's very quiet. And I don't see all of a sudden him becoming like this vocal person. And then with Matip, I haven't seen Matip with bark orders or shouts and stuff like that. It's normally Virgil. So my worry is who would be doing that with them. That's why I think you need Alisson behind them to be barking orders. It could work. I think against teams that play technical open football, like an Ajax, I think it will work because they're not going to be bombarded us with high balls. They're going to be playing the ball, and I think that's going to suit Gomez. But I think we're playing a team that has good corners, plays a lot of long balls. Then I wouldn't play Gomez. I'd play Matip and Fabinho. So I think if you guaranteed me that they were going to stay fit for the whole season, then I think we will do fine. But my worry is that Matip and Gomez are made of glass, especially Matip, and they always get injured. Always, we haven't had a season when Gomez always gets an impact injury every year, something get, and then Matip gets knocks all the time that can take him out for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I doubt is it realistic to think that Matip can go the whole, especially playing him loads of games. He's never really had, realistic to think he can play that many games. And plus, we're thinking actually with the FA Cup, we're going to have to play a Matip or Gomez or Fabinho in that game at centre back. That puts an extra pressure on us because we want to do well in that. So I'm fingers crossed.
Go on.
No, fingers crossed. But I just can't see them staying back and going staying fit. Both of them staying fit the whole season without one of them getting up.
I think in terms of cup competitions, especially like you said, FA Cup, I think Klopp is most likely going to go probably Seb van der Berg, Reece Williams, them two in particular. Probably not both playing at the same time, but I think you are right in the sense that Gomez, Matip, or Fabinho are going to have to play at least. Well, Klopp's going to have to play at least one of them, unless he picks someone from the academy to maybe come up, and someone that we don't even know about yet in terms of as we do know right now anyway. But it is interesting because of course Van Dijk, as we've seen this season so far in the Carabao Cup, Van Dijk played 45 minutes against who was it the first game? Brentford, I think it was, or someone like that. Played in the first game, and then the second game against Arsenal, he played, I believe, what was it, 60, 70 minutes against Arsenal in the Cup. So, Van Dijk has been used in Cup competitions this year. So, and look, let's not beat around the bush. We are going to miss the best defender in world football. It's plain and simple. For me, there is no one on his level in world football, in my personal opinion. I think that the nearest person to him, probably over the last season, is maybe Ramos. But then Ramos for me is just a goal scorer. He always scores penalties for Real Madrid. But then everyone this summer, everyone kept on going about Koulibaly and things. I guess maybe if we did sign Koulibaly, then that would have been what's named. But at the end of the day, it is a tough picture that I think we have to now look at and try and make the best out of it. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below. Let me scroll up because there's been a few comments today. Where we buy Unbearables says good evening Unbearables, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, mate. Just making a cuppa, be right back. So bring me one as well. I have forgot to make myself a cup of tea. But Liz says hello to the Unbearables as well. Liz says subscribe, like and share, folks. Yeah, absolutely. Also as well, anyone in here, then please go over to Yanks of the Corp as well. Please go and subscribe to their YouTube channel and that all good stuff, and let them know that we have sent you. Seamus is saying good evening everyone. How are you, Seamus? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, mate. Uno Plays is in as well, saying good evening. How are you? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Bearable says buckle up, I see us going back. We score one more than you, which I loved. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Liverpool are going to play ping pong football at the minute. We're going to score, they're going to score, and then we're just going to do classic 2018 Liverpool without Virgil van Dijk. We'll score 6 and they score 5. Does that sound good? Does it sound good?
I don't know. Did we do anything with that style of football, to be honest? Yeah, it didn't win us the league, and it cost us in the final really after Salah went. I mean, I don't think that's the way to go. I'd rather us go to the 4-2-3-1 formation. At least that way you get an extra attacker on the pitch, and it gives more protection to defence. I'd rather us go to that formation if we are going to go forward. Because I think would actually allow us to have more protection for the defence. Especially if we're going to play a Matip and Gomez, it'd give them more protection.
Well, it's like I seen something on Twitter earlier on, and people were like, we could always rely on one person in particular, and that's James Milner. Would you play James Milner at centre back? Even though he can play everywhere else, it seems. Even goalkeeper. Why not just shove him in the goal? But we just said about Gomez and Matip and Fabinho as well. Is there any other players in particular that you think that could fit in to the centre back role that's currently in the team that isn't a centre back, obviously, in terms of like Seb van der Berg and Reece Williams, like we've mentioned? Is there any other particular player that you can see maybe stepping into that role?
Maybe I'll push Henderson because he has done it before. I think maybe even Ginny's done it as well. So at a push, they could do it if called on in the game. I wouldn't want to do it against a big team, but if you're playing like a like a smaller team, then it could work. They could work. But I wouldn't do it against like a big team or a big Champions League game where we have Henderson at centre back, because that's, I think that's asking a lot. But I think because I did read that Klopp saw Henderson as potential as a cover.
Yeah. Like Henderson's done it before, of course. Club World Cup semi-final, stepped in for Virgil Van Dijk. Because Van Dijk was ill at that time as well. So it's possible. We were saying off camera. Gini Wijnaldum can play there. Played against Brighton, I think, back in 17-18, when we were lacking in defenders. I think we played Brighton away, and we ended up playing 3 at the back. So. Could Liverpool change formation and go 3-5-2? That's a possibility, I think. But I think it'd be interesting to know from now until the end of the season, whether or not we will change systems and go for a 4-2-3-1, because it's like you just said, 4-3-3 has worked so well for us, with Van Dijk and with everyone being fit and available. But then when Liverpool have been, struggling in a game, I think Klopp has referred to a 4-2-3-1, quite a lot, over the last 2 years, for example, in, the 97 and 99 point seasons. Do you think that, that's probably the way forward for this season, maybe switch in from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1, or do you think maybe, we stick with the 4-3-3 and then maybe against teams like Burnley and things like that, we bring on that extra attacking player like Jota, and take out maybe Fabinho in midfield, or maybe put him centre back. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we should. I was surprised we didn't start the 4-2-3-1 anyhow, because in pre-season that's what we were playing. We were playing 4-2-3-1 throughout pre-season, and I thought the whole point of that was the fact that because we bought Thiago, we were going to go with that formation, because there was rumour that they wanted to play Thiago further forward as a 10 and 8, and then have 2 players sitting behind him. So I thought that's how we were going to play anyhow. So I was surprised when the season started and Klopp didn't play it once or hasn't gone to it. So I think we should be going to that, because I think, like I said, it will give us that protection. We're not going to have the area presence or domination of Van Dijk. So just to protect the defence more, having 2 players sitting there who are just holding, then having maybe a Thiago in that 10 or 8 role will give us great control, great protection, and it will also protect the fullbacks when they go forward. So, to me, I think it's natural for us to go to that formation. And maybe you don't have to do it every game. Maybe there's certain games we might think we don't need to do that. You can still do the 4-3-3 if we're playing, like a Fulham at home or some small team like that at home. If we're doing that, then fair enough. But maybe if we're playing a difficult game like a Wolves away, we can do that. So I think it should be the formation we go. It's just whether or not Klopp's willing to then deviate for the 4-3-3, where he thinks he can still play it with them. Because I'm wondering, are we still going to play high line? We have Van Dijk.
I would think so, but I think it'll be modded a bit to suit Matip and like it was against Everton in the second half. I think it'll be a certain way, but I don't think it will be as high line as what it has been, because it's like you said, with the vocals of Matip and Gomez. Me personally, I think Matip is probably the vocal point out of them two in particular. So I think he will be ahead and in charge. But then I think even if Fabinho is partnered with Gomez, I still think Fabinho would be the voice, because I don't think Gomez is like that. So, and plus when you think about it, Fabinho, he shouts at the midfield where to go, things like that. Normally it's Jordan Henderson doing it, but if Hendo's not there, then Fabinho does it. And to be fair, Fabinho could speak good English. To be fair to him, but it's going to be interesting, and I think it will be telling what Klopp does, especially against Ajax. Will he go? Because for me, I think Gomez is a starter in that game. It's just whether or not Matip's injury is serious or not. It's not serious, but whether or not he'll keep him out for the Ajax game and then bring him back then for Sheffield on the weekend. That's I think the question overall. Anyway,
I'd rest him for that game. That's my thinking. I think we'll need him more for the weekend, because Sheffield United are going to pump the ball in the box, and they're going to, how they played last year, they're going to put switches, punt the ball, locks in the box, and try and score that way. So he'll be needed for that game, Matip. So I don't think the point risking him against Ajax. I think Gomez and Fabinho are good enough to deal with Ajax, because Ajax is a good team, but they're not as strong as they used to be with all the players they've lost. So there's not really anyone, that we should be thinking like that we should be troubling. We should still beat them.
Yeah, well, it's like their best attacking players are like, what is it, Tadic, Quincy Promes, and things like that. There's no one that's like threatening in the air, No. So you will need that like destructive player, like a Fabinho, to play at centre off. And I would agree with that. I think that Matip will probably be rested for the weekend. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comment section. Doug says Reece Williams is needed, guys. He's a mini Van Dijk. He looks like Van Dijk a bit. Jeannie's in as well. How are you, Jeannie? Hopefully having a fantastic day, mate. Let me scroll down. Oh, no, it skipped. There we go. Seaman says, I would think Fabinho in centre-back with either Henderson or Thiago in the midfield, in the holding role. Yeah, I think probably Henderson, because I think looking at the Everton game in particular, even though Thiago was kind of playing like a holding role, but it was more attacking than, sitting in that deep role. And I think we looked at Henderson last year going back, around Christmas time. Jordan Henderson was playing absolutely fantastic football, playing in that 6th role. And I think he could do it again, in my personal opinion anyway. But, Wyoming, I'll ask you this. Would you do Thiago or Henderson in that 6th role?
I think the difference is Liverpool and Bayern play different football. So the reason why Thiago works as 6 at Bayern is because they play completely different to us. I think for us, I prefer, although Thiago can play 6 perfectly, I think he could do it for us. I'd prefer Thiago a bit further forward. I want him because I want him back because when he was in his early Barcelona days, he plays as an 8 and he got loads of assists and goals. It's only in Bayern he went back to a 6 and played a deep line role. I think I'd like him to play a bit further forward and have Hendo as a 6, and then give Thiago a bit more free role just to dictate and roam and do what he's doing. So I'd go with Henderson 6, and then you have Thiago as an 8 or a 10.
Okay, that'd be interesting. Read that one. Doug said Lincoln City as well. Yeah, I couldn't remember who we played first in the cup, but yeah, we did destroy them. Can you see my comments? Yeah. I can see your comments, Doug. Uno Play says, I think we would be all right with those two if Gomez gets himself back in form. But as of right now, it worries me as his confidence seems to be completely gone. Yeah, it's a weird one with Gomez because at the end of the day, he hasn't lost his place in the team. Nothing, on the pitch anyway has suggested that, he should lose his confidence at all. So you would think it might be something off the pitch that that's maybe got into his head, and who knows. And I think that Liverpool, in particular, I think they have very good psychiatrists and things like this. I know that Klopp was working, I think last year with someone that was helping the players mentally anyway through the tough seasons as well. So I think in that aspect of things, Gomez has got the absolutely fantastic support in that respect anyway. So maybe it might just be one of those things in football terms, just playing a bit crap, and then all of a sudden he could play absolutely fantastic for 3 months. So maybe it might be just one of those things, in my personal opinion anyway. But
he's always had concentration problems though.
Yeah,
he's always had this times where he's lapsed to concentration, Gomez, where he switches off.
I get that, but for me, it's like I think people to forget Gomez is still only 23, and he's just turned 23. And he's been in Liverpool's team now for at least the last 2 years, so practically 21 to 23, and he's Liverpool's starting centre back. I think he's allowed a little bit. You look at Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is meant to be the most expensive defender in world football, and he's like making mistake game after game.
But I think with Gomez, he's a top centre back. I just think he hasn't had competition. I think that's the same thing. Like, there's no one challenging him. If he had competition, serious competition, then he'd have to up his game. And I think that's the thing, because Matip's majority of the time always injured. If he had someone that said to him, look, if you don't play today, next weekend you're on the bench, and this guy's going to take over, and then you're going to struggle, then you'd have to really up his game. Because remember, he only got in because Matip and Lovren were injured 2 seasons ago. At the beginning, that's when Gomez started, and he kept his place. So I think that's the thing with Gomez. He needs the competition. I think it's the same thing for me with Trent. Trent needs competition. If he had genuine competition, you have to raise his game. But he's so relaxed. There's no one threatening him really.
Yeah, I think Neco Williams. I think he is the right guy to maybe challenge him. But at the minute, it's quite hard because at the way Trent is playing at the minute, you would need someone quite similar to Trent's level. I don't think Neco Williams is there yet, but I think he can be. But yeah, at the minute, I think that's something that's kind of, you're fully right in the sense that, there was no competition there for Gomez. Going back last season, there was no real competition because realistically, Klopp's going to pick Gomez over Lovren every day. And the one person that would, fight for the position, Joel Matip, he was injured, what was it, 80% of the season or 70% of the season? So, it's always going to be Gomez in that respect. And, of course, Klopp would pick, he's picked Gomez, he's picked Lovren over Gomez, Watford, for example. But that time it didn't work because Lovren just wanted to fight with friggin' Troy Deeney every day, every single situation. But, it's one of these things. And I think, because I think Gomez is the long-term, replacement for Virgil van Dijk, in my opinion anyway. I think he is, of course, he's still learning from Van Dijk. And I think that in an overall picture, because I think Gomez, of course, in about 3 or 4 years' time will be in his prime. So, and then it'll be interesting to know then what he is like. And if he can cut out the inconsistencies in his game, then I think he'd be fantastic. But I do see your point where you said about, him not being consistent. And I think as well, what we have to remember as well, it's like you said, Gomez, Lovren and Matip were both injured, when Gomez came into the team 2 years ago. And, the last couple of years, Klopp has swapped between Matip and Gomez. The only time, one has got in from the other is when one's got injured. So it's one of these things that are, it is a bit worrisome. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comments. Liz says, we need Hendo in the midfield. Yeah, I would agree with that. Doug says, I agree with Liz. Mirabel says, I'm sure Klopp will work his magic again, just as he did when Phil Coutinho leaving speech and inspire our defence. Yeah, look, Klopp is the best manager in the Premier League to get this side sorted. He is. He's won a Premier League title, for God's sake. So, he is the man to do it. And, I have no doubts in it. I did say yesterday that I did, or the day before, I did say that potentially maybe Liverpool won't win the title. I'm going to, go back on what I said. I think it'll be hard. It will be hard, but I think we still can win it. It's just, maybe we need to get rid of VAR, for example, to get rid of it. I
think the lucky thing for us is the fact that the rest of the teams aren't that great. Like Chelsea, for all their good attackingness, they're awful defensively. Tottenham as well. They threw a 3-0 win against West Ham. Arsenal aren't good enough. And then Everton aren't going to win it. Aston Villa, the only team unbeaten, they're not going to win it. And City, they haven't looked that great. They scraped a 1-0 win against Arsenal. So we're lucky there's no one going to. I think this year there's no one with Van Dijk out. There's no one's going to run away with it. Like last year, it's going to be much more closer.
Yeah,
and I think it's just going to be about who's consistent. And I think for us, if we can come away from the City game and not lost that, and we won against West Ham and Sheffield United, we're in a good position to then win the league again. Because I think that's the key for me. Because I don't think the other teams are that great.
Yeah. But it's like you said, I think it will be a lot closer than what it was last year. But it's like I just said, we need to get rid of VAR first before we think about, because that VAR is literally our closest title rival. And then it might be Aston Villa, to be fair to them. And fair play to them as well. I believe it's only them and AC Milan which are still the only undefeated teams in Europe right now. So, fair play, absolutely fair play. But Liz says Fabinho is a good option. Matip needs to stay healthy, and Gomez needs to get his head straight. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. Unbearable says this is Gomez time to shine and show us why we have faith in him. Yeah, absolutely. Doug says Matip is better than Gomez. Arguable, but I can see it. Also, but we have to play Matip and Gomez. I think that's first choice for me anyway. I think that is course first choice on everyone's heads. But I think, if we just saw, even was it Matip that played along? Yeah, I believe it was. It was Matip that played alongside Fabinho against Bayern Munich in the first leg. Yeah. Of the Champions League, and we kept a clean sheet, against Lewandowski and others as well. So it's done it. We've done it before, and that record is still there. Every single time Fabinho has played at centre back for Liverpool, we've kept a clean sheet. So it's potentially Fabinho the new Virgil Van Dijk. Maybe we could do that as a title. Who knows? But it is that, to be fair. But Doug said, but we have to play Matip Gomez. Just read that. Or worse, Fabinho or Matip. That's Gomez. Yeah. Look, I'm fine with either one of those partnerships. The troubling time will be is when both Fabinho, Matip, or Gomez is injured, and then we're left with one centre back. If not any, that will be the worry. To be fair, like we'd have to play a defense of like Trent, Robbo, friggin' Henderson and Milner. Just experiment with it, to be fair. But what did I read? Liz says Gomez has the chance to show his best. Yeah, absolutely. Seema says I can't see Matip staying fit. He will miss games. Yeah, I think he will, to be fair. Liz says sadly yes to Seamus as well. And Doug's asked, would you and Wyoming go into the free agent market? Now, we did talk about this a little before we come on air, and I did have a look, and there wasn't many options for free agents anyway. Is there any off the top of your mind that you could think of straight away?
I think the last one we missed out on was Thiago Silva. I think we should have gone for him as a stopgap for the season before he went Chelsea.
I just watched that West Brom game and he's terrible.
Terrible, man. Like if it's a free transfer, he wouldn't have been he wouldn't be. He's better than Lovren. So I'm not saying he'd come in and straight away play for us, but he would have been a different option. And the other one with that Sarr guy, he went to where did he go to? That French guy Sarr, Mangala.
He went to Chelsea, but he went for a fee, and now he's at Porto, I believe.
Yeah, but he was the only other one that was a free that I saw that was good, that's potentially decent. Otherwise, I don't really know anyone that's a free. Or here you can get even a loan in January that can come in and do a job. So I don't know. That's what I'm feeling like. We're more likely to stick with what we've got.
I did have a look earlier on, but let me see if I can get this up on screen anyway for you guys. Let me scroll that down. Right, there we go. Can I do it or not? See, this is the problem sometimes. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. Right, click that. Go up. There we go. We got it. There we bloody go. Right, so as you can see on screen right now, hopefully, yes, there we can. You can see it on screen. They, according to Transfer Market anyway, let me make it bigger for you guys. There we go. As you can see on screen, this is the free agents right now, according to Transfer Market anyway. And the first name on it is, as you can see, yeah.
He wasn't bad, Ben.
I think he played for, was it Villarreal?
Yeah, he was a decent. He was good in Football Manager as well.
To be fair, yeah, he is to be fair. But as you can see, it's all Ashley Williams, former Evertonian.
Rodgers was after him as well.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers did want him for Liverpool. To be fair, but he's a free agent. But to be fair, apart from those two, to be awfully honest, I don't know any of these. Like the youngest, as we can see, just off the bat, but there's this 26-year-old. free agent, of course, but I think
I'd go for
realistically,
Ezekiel Gray.
yeah,
I think
at the
as
end
a
of the day,
stopgap, I think I'd go. He's a ball playing centre back as well.
we need that type of player, don't we? We need well, at least we need a decent centre half. Yeah, that's the only thing. But I would take him.
I don't know about his pace, how to survive in England, but I do know he was good in the air and he was a good ball playing player, centre back, and he was. Villarreal had a good defence with him when he was playing for them week in, week out. So,
well, the Unbearable's gone. Daniel Wabi, I think I said 32, German centre back on a free. Is he on the list? Let's have a look.
I don't know about him. Daniel Swab.
Yes, he is on the list. He's second on the list. Looks promising. Yeah. Let's have a look. Oh, well, he's won titles. Yeah, let's not get that mixed up. He has won a couple of titles, and his last club was, I believe, PSV. So could be interesting. Could be, an idea that Klopp could be thinking of as well. Let's not forget as well. Daniel Sturridge is still on a free transfer. Could we sign Daniel Sturridge back? It's a massive question mark. But he was talking about Liverpool a couple of days ago, and to be fair, he was on about how much he loves Liverpool, how much he loves the city. I wouldn't mind him coming back, but if he can transform in a defender, I'd absolutely love him even more.
Yeah, Sturridge, that definitely the romantic one, but he'd have to take a big drop in his salary because of his playing time.
Yeah, that is true. But as you guys can see on screen right now, anyway, Sky Sports had the little graphic or hologram, however you want to pronounce it, and of course they were looking at Liverpool without Virgil van Dijk and Liverpool with Virgil van Dijk, and as you can see by here, with 95 games, 2.4 points per game, which is just crazy to be fair. 78 goals conceded, 0.8 conceded per game, 8.3 shots faced per game. And then, clean sheets 44, which is a massive, boost. And then conceded 3+ goals, 6, which, to be fair, Liverpool back in 2017, as you can see on the right hand side, 14 without Van Dijk. While Klopp's been there as well. This is while Jurgen Klopp has been Liverpool manager as well. You can see just the massive difference. Only getting 1.9 points per game, which from 2.4 is huge, in terms of getting a title. But to be fair to that as well, Klopp did have the defense of Mignolet, Klein, Lovren, Matip, and Alberto Moreno. So we can give Klopp a little bit of a pass on that. To be fair. 110 goals conceded, and things like this. But it's like we said, 30 clean sheets. Without Virgil van Dijk compared to 44, and then 14 plus 3 goals conceded compared to 6, which, to be fair, is huge when you're trying to compete for a Premier League title, especially as well. But just seeing them stats, but Waham, would you think that Liverpool would go back to that in terms of going back to like we was in 2017, conceding 3 goals and scoring 4. I know we can score 4 now, but like in terms of conceding the 3, do you think because we've got the likes of Alisson, Gomez, Matip, Robbo, Trent, do you think we could keep clean sheets consistently, or do you think it will be just trying to beat teams by goals?
Well, I think the big difference, like you said before, like the personnel back then, we had. Playing like Moreno, who's a tragedy,
Yeah.
So I think now we're much, and we have Mignolet in goal. No offense to Mignolet, great professional, but he was like a liability. So with Alisson in goal, he saves more shots than his expected goals is ridiculous. Amount of saves he's supposed to save. And I think the major difference now is in midfield, and the fact that you have Thiago who allows us to keep the ball better. We never had a Thiago back then, who allows you to keep the ball and dominate possession. And you also have Henderson, who's playing out of his skin right now. He's playing like in the form of his life. I think those two midfielders are going to be crucial to keeping the ball and helping give us leadership. And even like in the Merseyside derby, I was looking at the amount of times Thiago made the tackle was ridiculous, and he won the ball. And even Henderson. So I think them two midfield a massive difference to how we were back then. We never had those. And then I think as well, like with Fabinho as well, we never had a top defensive midfield like player like him either then. So I think there's more better personality right now within the team. And they're also leaders, like Robert's a leader to Scotland, he's a captain. Henderson's a captain, So, we have leaderships players who else in the team in other positions. So I think we're better positioned now to not go back to that. It might not be as strong as we were with Van Dijk, but we're not going to be back to the point where we're having to score 5 goals to win a game and win 5-3. I think we're that way. And plus, there's not many teams really in the Premiership that can do that to us, really.
Yeah.
Maybe
Aston Villa.
Yeah, but that was an anomaly, I think. That was a big anomaly. And we missed so many players. I think that's an anomaly. I don't think there would be that score. We had Henderson and Thiago and Marnie in that game.
No.
And Alisson. I don't think it would have been that score. But I think maybe the only team that can maybe do it is maybe Tottenham, because I think they always give us a good game. City, maybe United on the day if they get with their attacking, their pacey attack, they could do it. If Trent has a bad day and Rashford destroys them like he did a few years back, potentially. Otherwise, I don't really think there's many teams in the Premiership that can really do that to us. So, I think we're just better equipped this time around personnel wise, and plus Klopp's a lot more experienced now, a lot more wiser. So he learned from all those mistakes back then and known that the squad he had then was really poor. Now he's got more depth, more quality. So I don't see us return to that. And plus, I think that stat you showed from Sky Sports, it's a lot misleading because of the personnel had in there. When you're playing Lovren and Sarko, of course you're going to see loads of goals.
Well, remember when Mohamedou Sakho was our best defender and we were all gutted when he left? Oh, those days. But I think the thing with Sky Sports, I wanted to show it, but you are 100% right. It is very misleading. It's like I said, we played with Alberto Moreno at left back at that time. And it's like now we have the best left back in world football in Andy Robertson. But it's so funny because I've seen rival fans as well. Some rival fans, I say the majority have been like, oh, get well soon with Van Dijk and things like this. But then I've seen other rival fans go, oh, well, that means there's now going to be a new Premier League champion and things like this, and Liverpool are going to finish outside the top 4. And it's like, calm down. Van Dijk is, our best defender. But, look at Man City last year. They still managed to be second and things like this. But the difference is that Liverpool, we have, the likes of Fabinho, because, all right, some people might go, oh, but they had Fernandinho. But for me, let's not forget this. Fabinho was a centre-back for Monaco for a very long time and a right-back as well. So, he has better defensive, worse names than Fernandinho. And plus, it's not, with Man City, I feel like when Fernandinho left, that midfield role to go and play centre-back, no one was there to fill that gap. Rodri wasn't really the player to go and do that. With us, Jordan Henderson can easily, do as good a job as Fabinho can in that 6th role. And even at a push, we can do Thiago there as well. Even though, like we've said before in this stream, Thiago is better going forward, but, he is an option then, realistically. And let's not forget as well, we can also play Gini Wijnaldum there as well. So the amount of options for Liverpool compared to what Man City had to do last year, there's so many options for Liverpool. And of course, we all want Van Dijk there because Van Dijk is the best defender in the world. But, sadly enough, we have to make do what we have. And I think Liverpool can cope with it, depending no bad other injuries happen, of course. But let us know anyway your thoughts in the comment section. Anyway, Rudra says, now we should do some. Yeah, now we should do everything to avoid corners. Yeah, just kick it up for throw-ins. Kick it up for throw-ins. And Beryl says, I loved DS dance. Miss it. Yeah, we all do love Daniel Sturridge dance, especially against Everton. You know, when he did the lob over the top at Anfield back in 2014, that was fantastic. I absolutely love Daniel Sturridge for that. But Chris is in saying, evening lads, hope you're well. Hope you're doing fantastic, mate. You know, and also as well, guys, let us know anyway. Let us know your thoughts about this as well. Let us know which centre-back partnership you would like. You know, would you like Fabinho, Gomez, or would you like Fabinho, Matip, or Matip, Gomez? You know, let us know in the comments anyway. But Roger says, Keita is back in training, so we could drop Fabinho to defence. Yeah, he is back. I believe today he had another test, or yesterday he had another test, and he come back negative, so he is training and should be some sort of part of Liverpool Ajax anyway. So that's good news, you know, for additional, you know, adding to the squad anyway. So that is fantastic. Chris says Van Dijk is a big miss, but I'm still positive. Look, we challenged for the title in 2014 with Mignolet, and Sakho, Gomez and Matip, much better defenders than we had in 2014. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. He also says we got Alisson to come back on the 31st of October, which will boost our squad. Yeah, absolutely. The defense between Fabinho and Fernandinho. Fabinho is tall, which what you want from a centre-back. Fernandinho is a dwarf playing at centre-back, madness for Man City. And then he also says there's only one emergency centre-back, and that's James Milner. Yeah, he's Mr. Reliable. Like, come on, he is Mr. Reliable. But yeah, guys, if you've got any questions for me or Wyoming as well, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But I did want to show something. If I did put it on the show, yes, I did. I wanted to show... I know this might be painful, but I wanted to show Jordan Henderson's reaction to scoring that match winner and how iconic it was, because it was so good. But you know, I'll play it for you now. I'll let you guys see it now. Just the scream down the camera, it's so beautiful, and then friggin' it gets stolen away from friggin' VAR, which is just terrible.
Yeah, roughly. We don't deserve the goal. He did. Oh, that's
mate, I just I wanted to show it because I think that just showed how much that meant to Jordan Henderson scoring that winner. You know, even though sadly it will never be known as a winner anyway, but it was just sad to, not sad, sorry. It was, you know, I thought it was brilliant, showing the raw emotion on his face from scoring, and you know, especially from what happened 2 weeks ago as well, us conceding 7 against Aston Villa, and without Jordan Henderson being there, and with him being there, just showing how much of a leader he is, and being, you know, the person that can be relied on week in, week out. You know, was you feeling the same watching that then, or were you just like why Connor, why have you got to show me this heartbreak?
No, I saw that earlier on today because someone posted it, and I was like, the emotion was just, and I was thinking when I watched that, I thought like, yeah, Jordan Henderson putting a stand performance showed exactly why anyone who doubted why Henderson's so important to this team in midfield, just have to watch how he played against Everton. Like, you know, his controlling of the game, his passing. He was doing passes, wicked passes with his left foot, his right foot. You know, he's still, you know, the energy at the end of the game to still get in the box and should have scored the winner. And I just felt like when they stripped it away from him, I just felt that's a joke. You know, everything about that move. Thiago's pass, world-class pass to deceive everyone. Mane's pass, you know, everything with that was just heartbreaking. And I felt for Henderson because I thought that would have been his first goal in a derby, and you know, to score the winner, and it would have shown as well, like Liverpool have that resilience to you know, to win that game after with all the adversity that's thrown against us by corrupt officials, cheating Everton fan players. You know, I just felt bad for him. I just felt like you know, that yeah, it really hurt me, to be honest. This felt
Yeah.
bad.
Well, it's one of these things, isn't it? It's like you said, that would be his first goal in the Merseyside derby, and being Liverpool captain as well. It just means so much in terms of and especially winning a league title. We all know, not last year, of course, the season before, we drew against Everton at home, and we missed out by a point. We get that extra 2 points, we win the title. It's as simple as that. So that could, contribute to this season's title. When we go back and look at it, in 10 months' time, in being so important. But for me, I think Henderson and Thiago, that game especially, they were so good. Everyone talks about Liverpool's midfield not being, world class. For me, I think Jordan Henderson's a world class player. And many people would disagree with me, and I absolutely get that. But for me, being world class doesn't mean showboating, and doing skills and things. I guess for me, it's working that extra hard to try and get your team the winning goal and try and get your team in an advantage point. And we all talk about Thiago. Thiago's a world class player, and he's probably, apart from probably De Bruyne, he is probably the best in world football. His passing's fantastic, his work rate's fantastic, his defensive work doesn't get credit enough for it, and things like this. So, but then Jordan Henderson does the exact same. The only thing I would say maybe for Henderson that doesn't really add to it is probably his goals. But then, to be fair, he contributes so much. The goals things doesn't matter, in my personal opinion anyway. But guys, let's know your thoughts on that anyway. But Chris has got, I was ready to slaughter Pickford for being a bad keeper, if that counted. Well, we got a lot to say about Jordan Pickford, to be fair, but yeah, the FA are not going to do anything about Pickford, so we won't talk about it. So Chris says as well, Henderson, most important player in this Liverpool team. Without him, we are not the same. Simple as that. Yeah, absolutely, I would agree with that. Uno goes, what if Klopp does a madness and goes, nah, I'm not going to buy anyone in January. We will talk about January in a couple of minutes anyway, and what we hope Klopp will do. Anyway, Chris goes, I'm trying to move on from it, but I can't. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, it is hard to not think about the game. Uno goes, I'm crying watching that celebration now. That's rough. That, yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Chris goes, look, 33 games remaining. Everton thinking they've won it already. Let them think it. Let them think it. Look, small club mentality, that will always be Everton. So don't worry about them. Worry about them when we face them at Anfield, when hopefully we've got a crowd in the ground and things like that. Because imagine a fully packed Liverpool Anfield. No Everton fans, just Liverpool. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting.
We battered them. They didn't deserve anything for that game. We actually played in the park.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think they're like, I think their thing was like, a draw for them was a win, and then like the majority of Everton fans, what I saw anyway, were like, oh, but we could have got a win there, and I was like, no, like the only team that looked like winning that game was Liverpool. There was no other team that looked, better than us. Well, obviously there's another team, but like, for me, Liverpool, we deserved to win that game, and Everton were lucky to get a draw.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because I think, like, if you look at the chances, Mane should have scored. He had that chance when he had that. He should have scored a second. We should have been well outside. And if Van Dijk hadn't got injured, we would have gone on to win that game 2 or 3-0. Everton wouldn't have scored those goals if he hadn't got injured, because we would totally dominated them. And then obviously that Van Dijk injury kind of like shook us up in terms of set pieces. Yeah. That's how they scored. Otherwise, we were, if Alisson and Van Dijk are there, we win that. We don't score those goals, concede those goals. So I'm just saying, look, wait till we get to Anfield. That's what I'm saying to Everton fans. Wait till we get to Anfield. Fans and no fans, wait till we get there.
Or wait until you face another top 6 team as well, because. All right, you got lucky against Liverpool. Wait until you face Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. If you beat them, fair enough. But, just hang on quite a second. But we did talk about the January transfer window. And I want to talk about this man. Dayot Upamecano. Of course, people have been mentioning Virgil van Dijk replacement. and things like this. And for me personally, I think he is the guy that Liverpool should just go out and get. We did it with Virgil van Dijk. We did it in January, of 2018, I think it was.
Yeah.
We went out, we got him, we got the man, and I think it's time to do it again. Liverpool, of course, didn't sign a centre half in this previous window. And things like that. And I think that was the one position, after the window was shut, we all thought, that is going to be our weakness. And now it's been made, our main weakness because, of course, Virgil van Dijk get injured. But, I'll ask you this, should Liverpool go and get Upamecano in January, or maybe should we wait a bit longer? Because, of course, next season, as far as the reports are suggesting anyway, he will be available next summer for 40 million euros, which is around, 38 million pounds. So would you wait 6 more months, or would you, go and just get him in January?
I'd get him in January. The reason why is because I know Bild recently said that we have him as a target in the summer, but I just feel like there's going to be more competition for him this summer for that price. There's going to be a lot more. And I think, not to say we can't beat the competition, like as soon as Klopp talks to someone, they can convince anyone to join us over any other club in the world. But I just feel like to guarantee the season, if you were to pay the premium, get an Upamecano now in January, you guarantee yourself 100% win the league and probably win the Champions League if you get him in January.
Wow.
Because I think he's that good. He's a monster. Like he's got everything to his game. Like he's good in the air. He's quick. He's good at passing. Gets loads of tackles, blocks, interceptions. Reading the game. He's perfect. Complete centre back. And plus with our good relationship with Leipzig and at Red Bull Salzburg, and also if they're talking about what that FSG wanted to do that thing with Red Bull where they created some kind of merger. They were talking about it.
Yeah, they were. I think they were on about certain people from Red Bull were on about investing in FSG and things like this. I think it was anyway.
So that shows that we have a good relationship with them already hand. So, and I'm pretty sure he would jump at the chance of playing under Klopp. So I'd do it. I'd find the money in January, pay the premium, and say, look, we know he's going for 35 million in the summer. Here's 60 million for him, just to get him now, and just have him sewn up. So you've got a top centre back next to Matip or Gomez for the rest of the season, and gives you that surety.
Because the one thing for me as well is the biggest point about it is, like you said, he has all everything. He has pace, physicality, can win a ball in the air, and other things like this. And to be fair, Leipzig, under their manager, they don't play a too dissimilar type of football than Liverpool. Under Nagelsmann, he's very attack minded and things like this. So he already knows that kind of style and that. And to be fair as well, he's only 21 years old, which until I researched it earlier on, I thought he was around 23, 24, but he's not. He's actually 21, which is just crazy, And imagine, of course, Van Dijk easily walks back into the team when he's back fit. But, imagine that partnership. If Gomez gets his head back straight, like how hard it's going to be to get past Upamecano and Joe Gomez, and a fully informed Joe Gomez, with Alisson Becker, behind you. It's very, very good, But you mentioned 60 million there. For me, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. I think 60 million pounds is realistic enough. Apparently, according to Transfer Market, he's valued at the moment 54 million pounds. So that would be interesting. But if Leipzig can get 60 million, in January, but then they're going to end up getting 40 million guaranteed, in the summer, I think they 100% take the 60 million. They would be stupid not to. But it's like you said earlier on. It'll be intriguing to know. I think you said this off camera. it'll be intriguing to find out what Leipzig are doing in Europe. They're in the group of death at the moment with Manchester United, PSG. I can't remember who the other team is, but it is a group of death. So they could end up in the Europa League. I don't think they will. I think they'll beat United to second. I think PSG will win the group. But if they do end up in the Europa League and he gets the chance to play with Liverpool in the Champions League, like we said with Van Dijk, Van Dijk did it. That knockout stage, in the road to Kiev, Van Dijk did it, and Van Dijk was a huge part of the Champions League run that season. And to all of Liverpool's credit, we ended up getting him, even before January. I think it was the 28th of December. I think we got Van Dijk that one year. So I think Liverpool should go out and do it and go and get him. For even if it does cost 60 million, if he's the right player, for Klopp, go and get him, no matter how much he costs.
I agree with that. And I think I agree with it because I think sometimes they said in the past, if the right player comes along, the club will pay the price. And someone who's 21 with all those attributes, you don't let him go. You don't want him to go to I know, like
United or City.
Yeah, you don't want him to go to one of them because he's that good, and he could be someone that's going to solve your centre back issue for the next 6 or 7 years because he's that good. He doesn't get injured. He's really healthy, good fitness. So I think I know they said that he's one of the people we're looking at for the summer, but I think you push that forward until January because you don't wait till the summer. Get him now in January, beat the competition, and then he could be the difference between saying, "Look, wow, like I said, you won the league and the Champions League," and push and give you that extra impetus to say, "Look, okay, we've got a top world-class centre back now." And when Van Dijk comes in, then you could imagine a Van Dijk and Upamecano partnership.
It'd be magical. I don't think anyone's going past us. That would be it. But I think I said this yesterday on the news about Virgil van Dijk. It's easy enough now to say oh yeah, we'll get Van Dijk back next season and we'll go again. We don't really know how Van Dijk will be because an ACL injury can change players. It did it with look at Brazilian Ronaldo for example. R9 Ronaldo. But he did his knees in all the time, and he just at a certain time he was never the same player. I believe when he did his first knee injury and that he was fine, of course, but then when he did the second one, I believe in the other knee, it completely changed him. And that I think after the World Cup, it was in 2002.
And it was just it wasn't the same.
Yeah, he just was not the same. And that is true. It's the same though, isn't it? It's the same with all top players. When the ACL goes, it just changes them.
Yeah, you lose a bit of pace. I know people saying Danny Ings, he came back from ACL, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's scoring loads of goals. But then everyone's, I do think, look, I think Van Dijk will lose a bit of pace. And although he doesn't rely on pace in his game, we have seen games where he's matched Song, Mbappe for pace in one-on-ones. And I think that bit of pace that he has will decrease. So he'll still be dominant in the air, he'll still be strong and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think he won't be as fast as he was before. And that's just unfortunate. And I think the downside with Van Dijk is in his prime.
Yeah.
He's going to lose at least a year of his prime.
It's look, I could have like an half an hour rage about Jordan Pickford, taking friggin' Van Dijk out for a year, but at the end of the day, Van Dijk for me, he's been the best defender in world football the last 18 months, 2 years, quite easily for me, and then for people, I don't like the fact when people compare him to the likes of Vidic and John Terry and things like this, because at the end of the day, those players, they're retired at the minute. They've done their careers and things like this. Van Dijk could win another 3 Premier League trophies, and then we could then be thinking about him, being the best ever centre back ever in the Premier League. But for now, he is the world's best defender. And even when he comes back, in a year's time, he, for me, will still be the best defender in world football. He will automatically go into that bracket because, for me, there's only like, 2 or 3, world class centre backs at the minute. You've got, like we said, Ramos, Koulibaly, and then after that, you have to think then really about it because it certainly isn't Harry Maguire. for freaking £80 million. But guys, let us know your thoughts anyway in the comment section down below. But Glenn's in. How are you, Glenn? Hopefully having a fantastic day, mate. He says, hey man. Reese in says we should play Fabinho at centre back and Wijnaldum at centre mid. I think that is what we have said earlier on in the stream anyway. Chris says Upamecano would make sense, especially perfect to cover for Van Dijk while he's out. Yeah, absolutely. Chris says you need to think Matip not guaranteed to stay fit all season. Why Upamecano makes sense. Yeah, that is true. Very, very true. Glenn says we have several centre backs if you need a couple for free. Chambers, Mustafi, Socrates, buy one get one free. Yeah, sorry, man. I don't want to shop at that store. It's a bit dodgy. It's like one of those one of those knockoff stores. From like you get a fake Gucci bag, and it just breaks within a couple of days and things like this. So yeah, I think I'll stay away from that shop, Glenn. To be honest, but thank you for the offer anyway. But Chris says behave, Glenn, with a crying face. Yeah, behave, Glenn. Diego's in. Oh, hi, Diego. Hopefully having a fantastic day, mate. Says evening all. Glenn says Chris was experienced defenders do close to 25 years between them. Exactly. Like they're gone off. They're a gone off knockoff. There you go. So we don't need them. We don't need them. But Chris says you can keep them, Glenn. Absolutely, you can freaking keep them. Chris says Van Dijk's injury should motivate us even more to retain the league and try and win the Champions League. True. Too. Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely think bring players closer together.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Van Dijk will be around the squad, all the time, while he's recovering. It just. Now it's whether or not the players have to perform, and I think they will. I absolutely agree with it. I think they'll bond together a lot more, especially as well. And look, like I just said, Van Dijk, he's going to be there, but he isn't going to be mainly in the core group. He'll just be in and around Melwood and that. But I think the squad's got a good enough bond then really to gel together even more anyway. But Glenn says it will be interesting to see how you guys cope away to Ajax without Alisson and VVD. I think we'll be fine. It's like we said that. Sorry,
they don't have Ziyech here anymore, and Van Beek's gone. So they were like their two. I think last year they gave who was it, Chelsea a good game. Because them two were outstanding for them, and without them two, I don't think the Ajax are that strong as they were. Yeah,
it's like you said, Ziyech. I think he was I think that Chelsea game was the main reason why Chelsea signed him because he tore him apart within 45 minutes. So look, Ajax are not the same team that got to the semi-finals of the Champions League, 2 years ago. Look, at the end of the day, Liverpool. We will go there with a plan, and the plan will work, in my personal opinion anyway. But yeah, that will be tomorrow's video anyway, because, of course, we have a Champions League style guest, if you want to talk about it like that, maybe. I don't know, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, we have a special guest tomorrow anyway for the match preview show for the Champions League. Anyway, you'll find that out tomorrow on Twitter. If you guys want to, find out early, go on Twitter at Decop Council. But I think we're going to leave it there for tonight because we have been going for an hour and 10 minutes. Time goes quick when you're, having fun chatting about Liverpool. But Wyoming, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I know that it was kind of last minute, if we want to call it last minute today. But I do very much appreciate you coming on. Where can we find you on the socials, mate?
So you can also find me at the Youngster Cop. So give us a follow there. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'm also down as at LFC_Wahomey. So that's my Twitter handle. But otherwise, yeah, just find me on Yanks the Cop podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can quickly show it on screen. To be fair, that my laptop doesn't want to work for some reason. Absolutely brilliant. But let me quickly show this as well. But yeah, guys, please go over to Yanks of the Cop. As you can see right now, I'd very much appreciate it if you can go over. Please give them a subscribe. As you can see, I am already subscribed to the YouTube channel. Also as well, we were on there. Well, I was on there, sorry, to do the Everton preview and that. So, it'd be very much appreciated if you can go over. Please give them a subscribe. Let them know that the Cop Council sent you, at least. Lets me know, who's there. I would be double checking as well. So please do go and subscribe as well. But yeah, absolutely brilliant stream with all of you people in here tonight. Thank you so much for commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff as well. If you could, subscribe to you as well, it'd be massively appreciated. But that we've been talking about Virgil van Dijk, who should replace him, what we've thought about it all. And yeah, I think we've had, a couple of good ideas tonight, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Liverpool either sign someone, on free, or at least, sign up a Meccano. That is the dream right now, to go and sign up a Meccano. But yeah, thank you to everyone that has tuned in to the video. I've been Connor from the Cop Council, and we will see you all